सीतम्म मायम्म 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 श्रीरामुडु मादण्डि सीतम्म मायम्म श्रीरामुडु मादण्डि सीतम्म मायम्म श्रीरामुडु मादण्डि सीतम्म मायम्म श्रीरामुडु मादण्डि सीतम्म मायम्म वादात्मज सौमित्री वादात्मज सौमित्री वादात्मज सौमित्री वादात्मज सौमित्री वैनदेय रिपुमर्दन वादात्मज सौमित्री वैनदेय रिपुमर्दन वादात्मज सौमित्री वैनदेय रिपुमर्दन दादबरदादुलु सोदरुलु मागु ओ मनस बरदादुलु सोदरुलु मागु ओ मनस सीतम्म मायम्म श्रीरामुडु मादण्डि सीतम्म मायम्म परमेश वसिष्ठ पराशर नारद शौनक सुर परमेश वसिष्ठ पराशर नारद शौनक सुर सुरपति गौतम लंबोदर गुह सनकादुलु धरणिज भागवदाग्रे सरुलवरो वारेल्लरू धरणिज भागवदाग्रे सरुलवरो वारेल्लरू वार त्यागराजुनिगी परम भांडु गुरु मनस वार त्यागराजुनिगी परम भांड गुरु मनस मायम्म श्रीरामुडु मादण्डि सीतम्म मायम्म
नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः हरिः ओम् अंतरायतिमिरोपशान्तये शान्तपावनमचिन्त्य वैभवं तन्नरं वपुषि कुञ्जरं मुखे मन्महे किमपि तुन्दिलं महः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यस्यान्तर्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नाम गोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ज्ञानरसं मुनिवेद्यरसं भवरोगविनाशनदिव्यरसं वेदगणाधृतसामरसं शिवमाकलये निजबोधरसम् एकमनामयमात्मरसं शमशीतलशान्तिसुयोगरसं योगिगणाधृतभावरसं शिवमाकलये निजबोधरसम् नित्यमनाश्रयमाश्रयदं श्रितपालनभक्तकटाक्षरसं यतिसङ्गरसं भवभङ्गरसं शिवमाकलये निजबोधरसम् विदिताखिलयोगसमाधिरसं जडचेतनबन्धननाशरसं संयमिवेद्यसमाधिरसं शिवमाकलये निजबोधरसम् सर्गविसर्गविनोदरसं भवताण्डवनाट्यसुशीलरसं सङ्कटमोचननामरसं शिवमाकलये निजबोधरसम्। अन्तर्यस्य बहिर्विधूततिमिरं ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतं स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनमताम् अज्ञानमुन्मूलयन् पश्यन् विश्वमपीदमुल्लसति यो विश्वस्य पारे परः तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरवे शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम्। यदा ते मोहकलिलं बुद्धिर्व्यतितरिष्यति तथा गन्तासि निर्वेदं श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च। We gave already an introduction to this verse yesterday. Now we will take the verse. Yada means when. When te, your buddhi, your intellect, your understanding power, your mind. Yesterday I told buddhi doesn't simply mean the brain. It's not an organ. Buddhihi moha kalilam vyatitarishyati. Moha kalilam. Kalilam means the dirt, the impurity. What is pure and what is impure? Anything that gets mixed up with anything else is impure. That mixing is called kalilam. Water is good, mud is good. When they get mixed up, it becomes dirt. So to anything, if it stays in the right place, it is pure. If it stays in the wrong place, it is impure. These are all Dharma Shastra. No? The hair, if it stays in the head, it is pure. If it stays in your food, it is impure. So here, Kalilam. Kalilam is not something separate. It is actually, it is like an overgrowth. It's also called Kalilam, an overgrowth. And what is the overgrowth? This ego is the overgrowth. Overgrowth chollam liya. Overgrowth. Something which is protruding, something which is making you feel it separate. Generally, you don't feel your hand or nose. You don't feel your nose. But some burn happens there. You get burnt or get cut. Then you feel. Like that, this individual sense, this ego, this I, this mindness makes you feel. It is constantly burning inside you. And what is it made of? What is this ego made of? It is made of mere water in the mirage. It is made of shade. It is made of shadow. It is not real. But that we will see later. Here, what is that Kalilam made of? It is ignorance. Atmanatma viveka bodham kalushi kritya vishayam prati antakaranam pravartate. This is the usual method. Your intelligence, your discriminating power is not working. You have forgotten the method of segregating body from the self. Atma anatma vivechanam kalushi kritya. It is all clouded, veiled. You consider the body as yourself. The moment that basic error is committed, from that error, parade of blunders follow. The first error is that I am this body. From that comes every other nonsense. Vishayam prati antakaranam pravartate. The mind goes towards the worldly objects. This ignorance makes you think that something is out there which will give you fulfillment. You have to see something. You have to smell something. You have to hear something. You have to touch something. You have to taste something. Through the senses, you have to experience something for fulfillment. This wrong idea makes us beggars. Our whole life, this jiva, this ignorant person is a beggar with 5 bowls. All the 5 senses are bowls, begging bowls. With those begging bowls, constantly begging something from nature. And it will never give you, it never gives you fulfillment. You constantly remain in a state of restlessness, listlessness. And this is kalusham. Now we can recognize our virus. This is the virus. The basic error is I is there. That is why Ramana Bhagavan always asked, who is the questioner? Who is the doubter? Whatever might be your problem, Ramana Maharshi turned your attention towards you, the I. Ask who is this I. And when you seek the I, you find the I is not there. When you seek, who is this I? What is this I? The I disappears, vanishes in the heart. Something else arises from the heart. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha aipatatyaham nija vicharanam aham inashabhaji ahamaham taya spurati hirt swayam paramapurna sat. When the aham, the I, the individual sense, the ego, which is made of ignorance, it disappears, something else shines forth in that place. That something will never get connected with misery, with the worldly life. You cannot connect that with the worldly life. Whatever might be the film, the screen, although is the substratum, the screen never acts. You cannot make the screen act as the hero or the heroine or the comedian. But without screen, nothing happens. Like that, with the real self, you cannot function as an ignorant being in this world. That is why Shankaracharya said, Sannyasa is the fruit of realization. Sannyasa is not the path. Sannyasa is the fruit of realization. Jnanam sannyasa lakshanam. When one attains jnanam, naturally when light comes, darkness goes away. Like that, when you become wise, you no more commit blunder. The same blunder you no more do. So sannyasa is not in ochre robe or tonsuring head. That is all tradition. We are not opposing it. Every tradition has its own ritual, its own methods. They are all necessary for the worldly functioning. But the real sannyasa happens in the heart. When you know the truth that you are Brahman, you are not this individuality, and in fact you function in a state where the individual sense is not operating, at the same time the body is functioning. In that state, no samsarik vyavahara, no ignorant worldly actions can take place. So, we will ask how great Mahapurushas, realized beings, are also doing work. There is two answers. One answer the Shastra gives is Lesha Avidya. Avidya Lesha. That is what they say. There is a lot of fight about these things. But there is a need to answer. So sometimes you move with realized beings. You cannot put them in the same pedestal with ignorant people. At the same time you ask why they did this. You can find mistake with the greatest Mahapurushas. Even with the Avatara Purushas. Even with Rama, Krishna. Everywhere you can see. Why they did this? If you ask, Shastra can answer only one thing. That is, still the avidya lesha is there. A little bit of the old personality. See, when you wake up from a dream, the remembrance of the dream still continues. Like that. Or, the other answer, both answers I am not giving, I am just quoting that sort. The other answer is swabhava. That every individual is unique. Every person's swabhava, prakriti is there. According to that prakriti functions. Generally, genetically also certain things comes. You are born in certain family, you sing. Because your father was a musician, your mother was a musician. Music is in your blood. That is what they say. So, naturally at the age of 4 or 5, certain people start singing. And suddenly they realize the self and all the music disappears. It will not happen. Whatever might be their prakriti, that will continue. So somebody has music, like that there are genius. If they sing, nobody can listen. Nobody can hear. The whole building will collapse. Even a donkey will take to heels. That is also a siddhi. No? That is also a siddhi. So that also, if they become enlightened, there will not be any change. Suddenly they will become musical. No. Nothing will happen. So that is Prakriti. So these are all things, this is the ultimate conclusion of Gita also, where Bhagavan says, Arjuna, I am not trying to change you. I cannot change you. I am not. Many people ask why Krishna asked Arjuna to fight. Krishna did not ask Arjuna to fight. Arjuna cannot be otherwise. Krishna only removed his ignorance. In last chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna, you are bound by your nature. Swabhavajena kaunteya nibaddha svena karmana. You cannot be otherwise. You cannot change your nature. One day, there was a sadhu, a Swamiji. He was teaching everybody, teaching everyone to be good, to be like this, to be like that. And one cat was there in his ashram. And that cat also wanted to improve himself, reform himself. He also wanted a personality development. So he found so many people are coming to this Swamiji, and they are all, somebody is giving up drinking habit, somebody is giving up non-vegetarian, somebody who comes without a devotion becomes a devotee. So why not I? I also must change. So what is wrong with me? I am eating rat. Nice. So he went to that Swamiji and told, Swamiji, please give me some mantra, so that I will stop this nasty habit of eating rats. What will you eat? I will eat carrot. I will eat only fruit diet. Milk. I will not eat any non-vegetarian food. So give me some mantra. So that Swamiji gave him some mantra. Every day sit for half an hour and chant. I will aham akum na bhakshyami. This is a mantra. I will not eat rat. So this mantra, this rat started with devotion, started chanting. Every day he will systematically sit in the windowsill in Padmasana and stand. Aham akum na bhakshyami. Mantra he will 108 times he will chant. One day he was chanting, every day the master was observing. You have to meditate and chant. He was meditating and chanting, suddenly found some kurum 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 sound. Chanting was also happening, some other sound was also coming. Then he went and asked, what happened? I don't know, master. I was chanting, suddenly one rat came here. I just put it in my mouth and I was also chanting. I didn't give up my sadhana. So how can you change a marjar, a cat? That is its prakriti, the bodily nature, genetic nature. That cannot be transformed. It is impossible. So what are you going to change? You are only going to give up the ignorance. Ultimately we will understand this secret. Atmanubhuti is possible. In the heart of heart, you realize that your own self is the infinite. It is Brahman. It is not you. What you consider yourself as you is not you. You go within and probe into that I, seek that I. Remove everything that is not you. Then you find that you are that still whole effulgence, Satchidananda. Once you realize it, the moha, the delusion is gone. The purpose of contact with saints, sages, is to give up this delusion. Edate moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati. When your buddhi goes beyond delusion, tada, then gantasi, you have reached, you have attained. Nirvedam, you have gone beyond knowledge, you have gone beyond studying, knowing, you have gone beyond doing. That is nirvedam. You have attained vairagya. Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. You are neither interested in any new information, because every information will disturb a sadhaka who is deeply engaged in enquiry. Self-enquiry, nididhyasana. Every information will disturb, because what does information contain? It contains an informer, a person who comes with the information, then a receiver, and some knowledge. This is Triputi. This will disturb. And anything that Shastras superimpose on you, do this, do not do that, that also will create an individual sense. So a real virakta, a dispassionate person, is no more interested in doing, in achieving anything, attaining anything. He is disillusioned. Disillusioned by about this becoming. No more becoming. I am something now. By doing something, slowly, gradually, I will become somebody. Of course, this is the dream with which we have started. Many people, they come from America to Tiruvannamalai with a plan. Meet a teacher, take the teaching, sit in a cave, meditate for 1 month and realize and go back to United States, start a meditation course and get into trouble. This is happening constantly, I have heard, I have not seen, I have heard a story long back. One Westerner came with very perfect videography at that time. Some movie makers, they were all with him, and with tonsured head, everything. The video starts, he enters a cave. He didn't sit inside. For the video, he sat in rapt meditation. In various postures, they took the meditation. After that, after half an hour, big beard, big jada. Everything was fit in his face, head, everywhere. He became a big tapasvi. And a light behind. And he came out. It's enlightened. This became what you call viral. So many years he did tapas. Perhaps you could even put last century he went inside and this century he came out. So this is reaching, becoming. We are used to such imagination, such dreaming. Actually, the truth is, what newly comes will not stay. The truth never undergoes any change. It is there within you as your own sat, as existence, as amness. In the Gita, Bhagavan has already told, Nasato vidyate bhavaha Na abhavo vidyate satah. What is, it never undergoes any change. There is no non-existence for it. Nasato vidyate bhavaha. The asat, the non-existent, the unreal, has no existence. That which is seen through the senses, the mind, it comes and goes. But what is in you as your own I am, your own experience, anubhuti swarupa, existence, it remains changeless. Once your attention turns towards the self, you have gone beyond all knowing. No more knowing, no more gathering. You are established in the changeless principle, and that establishment is what we call as realization. Sthita prajna. Is prajna, intelligence, has become sthitam. Sthitam means, stha means to stay. Sthitam means to establish. Where can it get established? See, knowledge is a traveling. Outwardly you travel. Like that, inwardly also, when you know the body, you try to stay in the body. That is why we do all kind of experiments with the body, to stay. And that illusion, perhaps it will take many, many lives to forego that illusion. Sometimes. Generally, people think that is the solid reality, body. So, do good exercise, good food, this food, that food, everything we try. Ultimately, what will happen? Somebody told that I am a very healthy person. Yes, you will be the healthiest person in your tomb. You cannot escape that. Who has lived up to 200 years, 300 years? Only stories are heard. And many who live up to 100, they say this is the result of my sin. Somebody who lived up to 107, we went to see him. Very old person, very devout person, religious person, very learned person. He said, this is papa phala. No happiness. So to carry the body beyond certain limit, you slowly lose happiness. Because you cannot get grounded in the body. Yoga Sutra, Patanjali puts, coins a word which says bhumika. Bhumika labha. Getting grounded. You cannot get grounded in the body because body constantly changes. Health constantly changes. Everything undergoes change. There was no one who remained all their life healthy. This is a simple dream. Many people bluff like that. They lived up to so many years. The Vedas say Shatayurvai Purushaha. The general Ayu, the general age factor of a human being is 100 years. And how can you be stable in that body? It constantly is in flux. So, Utkramati, etamannamaya atmanam upasankramya, transcending this material vesture, this annamaya kosha, this sharira, this body. Then you try to get stabilized in the prana. That is also not possible. See, this kind of research happens in every age perhaps. Now also they do so much research in energetics. Tane? Yeah. Energetics tane. Vitality, dietitians, and you want to keep your energy level in a higher, but that also you cannot get grounded there. It comes and goes, it changes. Then comes mind, the most funny thing. You go enter that mind body and touch that mind body, you find the vastness of it. You are beguiled, confused. No stability is possible because you touch it. It is just like your internet. Sometimes you download something from 50 birth back. If some problem comes, some future thing also might come. It is all problems. Jam. Sometimes somebody will put a virus into it also. It's a very complex thing, this Manomaya Kosha. So there is no stability there. Then you get a little bit of stability in the knowledge, Vijnana. You get stabilized when you listen to the master. You know that I am not the body, I am not the prana, breath, energy, I am not the mind. I am the self, I am the Atma Vastu. You know that a kind of bliss, happiness comes to you, a touch of bliss comes to you. You know that bliss is inside. You try to meditate and get stabilized in Ananda. When you touch that bliss, you feel fulfilled. But there also the bliss comes and goes. This process continues till the master tells you that you are the Ananda. Your very nature is bliss. Bliss is not something which you experience, it is you. In deep sleep every day, you experience that happiness without a person to experience it, taste it. It is not that you experienced it, you was Ananda. You were Ananda there. Ananda Rupaha Asam. Anandaha Asam. I was Ananda. Sukham Asam. Idanim api sukhameva ahamasmi. Bhavishyat kalapi sukhaswarupo bhavishyami. All the time that sukham is Atma Swarupa. You go deeper, 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 inquire and recognize that Swarupa, Swarupa Siddhi. You recognize the Swarupa, the self, and that is what in Gita language it is called Sthanam. That is the last word which Bhagavan is putting. No, the last mudra of Bhagavan is Sthanam Prapsyasi Shashvatam. It is the eternal Sthanam, the spot. Once your knowing power, this knowingness is a travel, as we said. Once it goes and touches that center, no more movement. No more increase or decrease. Karmanano vardhate no kaniyan. The right recognition of realization is when you come in contact with a real sampradaya, with pramanika acharya, a real jnani. It is not that simply you have some experience a little bit here and there, not like that. You get the perfect knowledge from the teacher. And the lakshana of that perfect knowledge is this knowledge that you are the sthanam. You are the self. You are the center. What is in you, the body, the mind, everything is thrown away. You don't even stick to any kind of experience, any kind of sattva prasada. We call sattva prasada. Sattva prasada means when your mind is very pure, when everything is pure, you will have a kind of bliss. That also comes and goes. So you are not deluded by anything anything objective, anything which is not the self, that recognition comes, then you sit. Then you sit. And that real sitting happens. Sthita. Because you find a place where you can sit, then no more fall. And what is that place? Somebody asked day before yesterday, how is they messaged, how is the satsanga happening? But wrongly spelled. They put how is SITSANG. Sit Sangha happening. So the purpose of satsanga is only to sit. You have Sangha with the self and you sit there. Irup, in Tamil we say Irup, to get established. Asyate, Swarupe Aswar. Somebody asked Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, what is the best asana? Yogasana they were asking, what is the best asana for a mumukshu? Bhagavan said, Nididhyasana. Said the best asana is Nididhyasana, to have constant contemplation of the self. Because that is the asana which never moves. It is the asana which gives you greatest relaxation, Vishranti. So once you come in contact with it, Nirvedam, you go beyond this brain activity of knowing. See, as long as this brain activity continues, Vasana will be there. Some movement will be there. Some movement will be there. Something to know, something to gather. And whatever you got, you think about it. Ultimately, all the Nididhyasana stuff also has to stop. Thinking also stop. Ramana Bhagavan tells in one place, in talks, he says, stillness is realization. Silence is real. It is not the stillness that you create by meditating. The stillness which is the fruition of self-enquiry, where no more you have to activate the brain. You have found the fulcrum, you have found the self. Not simply verbally, actually you have found it, and I have found the fulfillment there in the heart, and no more need for any movement, and that maunam, as the Upanishad puts it, Pandityam nirvidya balyena tishtaset. Balyam nirvidya maunam gachet. First is you clearly understand the teaching from the master. As Bhagavan puts it in Gita, Pariprasnena sevaya. You ask question, get the knowledge, perfect intelligence. When the intellect gets the perfect intelligence, naturally the mind has to become quiet. Because all the drives happen, thoughts happen, because there is an illusion inside that something is there outside. I want something. I have to do something. I have to become something. Somebody is there. Some person is there. Some event is there. Some action has to be done. All this happens because of some lacunae. Something is lacking. Means perfect knowledge has not come. When the perfect knowledge happens, you know that yourself is the truth. It is Brahman. As Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi puts, Arunachala, you are the inner effulgence, that which exists within and shines forth. Chit Prakasha. So that is, once this happens, no more delusion. Satsangatve Nissangatvam. Nissangatve Nirmohatvam. The moha is gone. Nirmohatve Nishchalatatvam. natural silence. The very nature of the self is that mauna. That mauna comes. That is the state of a Jivan Mukta, a liberated soul. Next verse. When will we have that withdrawal from the field of delusion? This is the next verse. Shruti vipratipannate yada sthasyati nishala samadhau achala buddhihi tada yogamavapsyasi. Yada tada. Yada means when. Tada means then. Here Bhagavan says tada yogam avapsyasi. Constantly used term in Gita is yoga. Hence Gita is called as Yoga Shastra. This is the Yoga Shastra. The word also comes in the Kathopanishad. Vidyam etam yoga vidhim cha kritsnam. That the Upanishad uses the word yoga vidhi. The method of yoga, methodology of yoga, yoga vidhi, instruction on yoga. So yoga vidhi. So here Bhagavan says you will attain that state of yoga then when yada sthasyati nishala, when your intellect remains still. Yada sthasyati, stha, we have already commented upon it. It remains, it locates that spot where it can rest. Very beautiful verse is there of Shankaracharya where he says Vishrantim asadhya turiya talpe Vishwadi avastha tritayoparisthe. Very beautiful verse. He says the yogi, he finds a talpa. Talpa means a couch. And what is that couch? It is the turiya, the fourth state. It is neither waking state, nor dream state, nor deep sleep state. Crossing the limitation of all the three states, he takes rest in that fourth state, in the turiya state. Vishrantima sadhya, having absolute relaxation there. There he really relaxes. Till then there is no relaxation. No? Janma mrityu jara tapta jana vishranti dayini. Very beautiful verse in Lalita Sahasranama. That Lalita means Divine Mother. And who is Divine Mother? She is Jnana Vritti Swarupini. The Upadesha that we receive from a Jivan Mukta, and that walk, it is Vagrupini, and that walk is Divine Mother. And it goes within us, and she takes the form of Vritti, as contemplation, as meditativeness. That is her form. And what is she made of? She is Lalita. Lalita means the simple thing, the simplest, the most simple thing. Because she just tells you what you are, who you are, just gives you indication, dishati. So what does she do? Vishranti. She gives you the greatest relaxation, the greatest rest, the ultimate rest. The intellect finds rest there, quietude there. The mind finds rest there. The senses find rest there. Your will, which hooks you with suffering, it finds rest there. Everything goes to rest in the heart, and there you are free of Janma Mrityu Jara Tapa. The great suffering born from again birth, again death, birth, death, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, old age, These are all tapa, Nobody can avoid. Take birth, who can avoid? Already, if you have come to satsanga because someday you came to this body. And now death also nobody can avoid. Then old age also nobody can avoid. Then what remains is disease. That also ultimately we will understand nobody can avoid. Kanakama, who stayed with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, she had later life some heart problem, many things were there. She used to often go to Chennai and come back. And one day I asked her, Amma, eppadi irukku? How are you? And she told me, Pudu Mahavakya theriyuma. She asked me, a new Mahavakya. And then she said, it is Vyadi Satyam Vaidyam Mithya. They said, because so many years the treatment is going on, but Vyadi remains like that. It is one form of body. And this is one way of putting it. Another great saint, Anandamayima, when she had some disease, and she never took any medicine, she underwent. And she said, I can envision, see the disease before it comes. It also comes like any one of you who is coming to me. How can I drive it away? It is also a devata. It comes and stays and takes its own time to live. So that is all various way of looking at the manifestation. So here, Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nishala samadhau achala buddhihi tada yogam avapsyasi. Then you will attain yoga. When your buddhi, here also the buddhi, the intellect, what happens to the intellect? Nishalasthasya. It becomes still. It becomes absolutely quiet. Still. Where does it stay? Samadhau. In the samadhi. And what is samadhi? Shankaracharya says, Atma. He says, Samadhiyate chittam asmin iti samadhihi atma. Bhagavan, Ramana Bhagavan said in one place, Samadhi is your real nature. Meditation is your real nature. When you remain as it, you are at home. It's a simple state. Lalita, we said, it's a simple state. That is why we say sahaja. Sahaja nirvikalpa. Vikalpa means doubt, vikalpa means duality, vikalpa means conflict. No conflict, no doubt, no duality, no irksomeness, no thoughts, no emotions, no I. Just sahaja. And that sahaja is stasyati nishala. The buddhi with so much, it just glides naturally into that state. Constantly you listen to the teaching. Constantly you do self-enquiry, atma vichara. You get habituated with that rarefied state where the ego is not operating, the mind is not operating, emotions are not disturbing you. Then when it becomes natural, when it becomes yours, achala buddhi, the buddhi remains still. Buddhi cannot enter there, mind cannot enter there. It will stay in the door, but it will tell you, you have reached. Where have you reached? You have not taken even a step, but you have given up all the ignorance, all the moha, all the delusion. When will this happen? Shruti vipratipanna te yadastasyati nishala. This Shruti means actually Vedas. Vedas prescribe so many yajnas, so many things to be done. They say, do this, do not do that. Like that in world also, so many rules and laws and regulations, dharma, adharma, punya, papa, everything is put in our head. And we naturally strive our level best to reach that state. And at a certain stage, it all takes you to the master and makes you listen to the perfect teaching. Vedanta means perfect knowledge. Anta means perfection. It is, Anta doesn't mean end. It means perfection, fulfillment. Veda means knowledge. The knowledge reaches its perfection, its fruition in the knower, in your own heart. Then there is no question of begging for anything outside. You are established in yourself. Samrad bhavati. You are like an emperor. Swarad. So there, Shruti Vipratipatti. There is no more Vipratipatti. Listening and getting conflicts, listening and doubt. Somebody tells you and you are not able to practice it. This is right, that is wrong. All these kind of conflicting things are gone. The intellect is constantly disturbed by the do's and don'ts. And it was constantly active to practice this and to give up that. This all are necessary to a certain state. We are not talking about the state of upasana, the state of karma. We are now considering the state of jnana. So here, the intellect is not interested in anything. It is not interested in doing this, giving up that, right, wrong, nothing. It just gave up this involvement with the world. Because once you get involved, if you are driving, you should drive on the left side. You are not at all driving, then what problem? You are not interested in driving, then why should you bother about left side driving? So you are no more interested in achieving, attaining anything. Now, Upanishad, the Shruti, Shasana, it gives you license to go out. You are free. Nirvedam, as we have said. Then, Stasyati Nishala, that Vipratipatti is no more there. Aneka Sadhya Sadhana Sambandha Prakashana Shrutibihi Shrapanaihi Vipratipanna Nana Pratipanna Vikshipta Sati Te Tava Buddhihi. The buddhi becomes distracted, scattered, vikshipta. By what? By knowing so many things. Many things to be achieved, to be attained. Aneka sadhya. Sadhya means so many goals. And sadhana. And it needs so many paths, so many things to be done. Aneka sadhya sadhana shrutibhihi shravanaihi. With all that, the intellect is constantly buzzing, ever active. As Ramana Bhagavan used to say, a master who tells you, prescribes you some homework, do this, do that, all those things. He is not a Jnana Guru. He is an avatar of Yama or Brahma. He will either take you to birth or rebirth or take you to death. The real master is there to give you Vishranti. He tells you, because the jiva is already being bruised, hurt by so many lives of doing, knowing. All the pains he is carrying in his heart. His very self-image is made of, it is a bag of so much pain, so much suffering. Accrued through so many do's and don'ts of many births. Now he is not into that job. He is not here to conflict, to fight. Mattaha abhayam. When you take sannyasa, the vakya is no more fear from me. I am not here to fight with you, to have competition with you. You want to sit in the front, very well, go and sit there. I don't want any place, anywhere. That is why he just takes the begging bowl. So, you can live with that. You are not here to fight with anybody. Just rest in the eternal restfulness can happen only in self-knowledge, not in meditation. Because when you meditate, it is a process. That is why Bhagavan said, find out the meditator. When you know the self, it is eternally restful. Akarma, achala. So there, yogam avapsyasi. The samadhi that is born from pratyabhijna, from the recognition of the self, is different from the samadhi which is born from yoga practice. Upasana. By meditating. When you quieten the mind with effort, that is also great. That is upasana. But the samadhi which comes from realization, there are jnanis who don't need the help of yoga. They will not bother whether the mind is quiet or whether the mind is scattered, whether they are beyond vikshepa and samadhi. Neither distraction distracts them, nor quietude attracts them. Because they have found the quietude of their being, which never gets distracted by anything happening in the world, in the body, in the mind. See, body is a great chaos. It is like the most busy street in Chennai. All horn, jarring, pom, 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 pom. Like that, the doctor can say, if you put some powerful hearing instrument and listen what is happening inside the body, even the very blood flow will be a great noise. Heart working, everything. Very factory, industry, so much sound, chaos will be there. So, how come you are not hearing it? Because your hearing has gone to another frequency. So, you are not able to hear it. So, to the tree outside, you put the same instrument in the tree, you will hear so much noise in the tree. You are not hearing because you are not staying in that frequency. So too, when you go to the self, when you are established in the self, you transcend all these frequencies. You no more frequent this plane. Then this sound no more enters you. In such a state, see, we tell all this about Shastras, but when you see a sage like Ramana Bhagavan, a great sage established, I am not simply telling Ramana Maharshi. If you are blessed enough, you can see a sage anywhere. Sometimes there are stories, you go most least expected place, you will find a great being. Because the Shastra says a Jivan Mukta is not a historical person. When you become ripe enough to meet a Jivan Mukta, he will happen in front of you. Your own inner being will come outside as the realized person. So you can meet him anywhere. If you study books, they will tell 1876 he was born. That is simply delusion. If you take the teacher, the master like that, you will get deluded. The Shastras say, the Upanishads say, if the disciple looks at the master as Brahman, that because master is the source, the Adhisthana. If he looks at the master as Brahman, that instant he realizes Brahman. Doesn't matter what prarabdha master has. The Guru You are no more looking at him as a person, as a human being. You look at him, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Mahesh. You are not bothered, you are not looking at what is there. That is why many people who came to see Bhagavan, they saw Bhagavan once. There are instances where they sat before Bhagavan for few minutes and left. They never came back. And they never left Bhagavan also. Because their Bhagavan was their own self, their own inner being. Their own inner being. They never lost him because they didn't misapprehend Bhagavan as the body. He is the inner being. He revealed the self, that's all. They got established there. So that kind of recognition happens, and that recognition, realization is samadhi. And then Bhagavan says, Yogam avapsasi. You attain yoga. Yoga means what? Gita's definition of yoga is release from suffering. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga samjnitam. This is a perfect definition. The fruit of yoga is at last, ultimately. In Tamil we can say apada. Free of this nonsense. All the problems are over. You are free of this limitation created by time, space, karma, mind, persons, events, birth, death, old age, gods. There is no concept of God here. Gods. Free of everything. தொல்லை ஒழிந்தது, எல்லை மறை வழிகாட்ட தொல்லை ஒழிந்தது. தானே அது? எல்லை மறை தானே சொல்லுவா. தொல்லை ஒழிந்தது. Trouble. All the troubles ceased. When the Vedas revealed to you your real nature, you are free of all the problems, all the sufferings. Upayam thedum vali nindru poivittadu. It's a beautiful song. I am no more seeking any method to be free. Any technique, any method, nothing. No more question of waking up from this dream. You know the dream. You have experienced the self. The Atmanubhuti has come. That's all. The real experience has come. That's all. And no more conflict in the brain. Shruti Vipratipatti. There is another commentary on Gita. It's not Advaitic commentary, but the word meaning for Shruti Vipratipanna I liked very much. That Bhashya says Shruti Vipratipatti means Shrutyartasya Vishesha Pratipattihi. When you know the real essential meaning of the Upanishad, what the Mahavakya tells you, Aham Brahmasmi. When you know that, the mind becomes still. It's not that conflict in the intellect. You have the right understanding of the Mahavakya. Aham Brahmasmi. You know, Brahman has happened to you as your Aham. In your bosom, in your center, as your own existence, as the I am. It is not you, it is not the individuality, it is not the Jiva Bhava. It is the deathless pure consciousness, that Shuddha Bodha Swabhava. When you know it, Hridaya Granthi is gone. This is Vipratipatti is all Hridaya Granthi. Some wrong understanding. it creates so much trouble. See, our entire life is a wandering because of ignorance. Ultimately, the Shastras say, going to the Guru, studying the Vedanta Shastra is the last ignorance, because then there also you have the wrong concept that you are ignorant. You are the body. To remove that, you make a movement, and that movement from one place to another. So everything is given up. Sthasyati nishala. We have to take this one word, Sthasyati nishala. Yogam avapsi. You have reached yoga, means you have reached that state where the misery cannot enter, suffering cannot enter, grief cannot enter. See, you need not even be a devotee, a religious person to know this. Even an agnostic, even an atheist, he also is seeking only this, a state where you can be perfectly happy. You can take this teaching even to China. They are also trying only to do this. The state where you are separated from suffering, separated from grief. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam. How come? By coming in contact with sthanam, a spot inside you, which we call as heart, the center, which is completely insulated, isolated from all the problems of the body-mind. But body-mind will have the problem. See, this is the perfect picture of a Jivan Mukta. You see all the Mahapurushas, you find they also have problems. If you study Ramakrishna's biography, he also cried to Divine Mother, Mother, I have so much pain, problem. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also had pain. Buddha had problem. He died out of some stomach problem. Krishna got hit by an arrow. Many problems were there in life of all the Mahatmas. So many things happened. Then what is the difference between them and us? This cannot be answered till you come in contact with them. Rama wept, cried. He cried, even Sugriva, this monkey king, he tells, see, I am majestically staying without any sorrow. Why are you weeping like this? See, you learn from me. I have also lost my wife. For that I have not cried like you. Rama said, who can get a friend like you? At the right moment you are giving me upadesha, consolation. What great consolation. You are my greatest Sakha, and hugs him. But with that, Sugriva cannot tell that I am one with him. Because he found there is some difference. Something which, see, what is it? It is the inner being, even the sages, they found it. He never told, I have realized the self. But he said, even all the devas came and told, you are Vishnu. He said, Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharathatmacham. He said, I know only I am as a human being, son of Dasharatha with so many family problems. And Brahma tells him, you are Vishnu, you are Narayana, everything. He doesn't know that you cannot deny also. At a certain stage that comes out. At a certain stage that comes out. Bharata once did something wrong, which is not, according to the Dharma Shastra, he should not do it. Then Bharata asked, what prayaschitta, what, atonement that I can do. Then Rama said, you come and touch me. That's all. Everything is cleansed. So that recognition is there inside. It is there inside. But outwardly you cannot find it so easily. That yoga state is not the Hatha Yoga. It is the Jnana. You have realized the truth that your own self is not inside the body. It is the infinite. There is no body in the self. There is no mind in the self. It is God. It is Ishvara. It is Purnavastu. And that recognition puts you in the state where you have crossed the border of suffering. That is what Buddha said. And Buddha, after attainment of this knowledge, till that knowledge became steady in him, he struggled in that Urubilva forest. After attainment, also he had no interest in giving it to others. Because so much blissful it is. Why disturb it? Stayed there. Then their Buddhist stories goes like this, that some Devata came and compelled him to go to the world. Then also he said, why should I go? All problems, there is no way I can teach them. If they can understand, they can strive like me and attain. Why should I go there? Then that Devata told him, there are people who neither belongs to this class nor belong to that class. They need only a little teaching and they will wake up. For them you have to go. Like that he was cajoled, and then only he came down. And when somebody asked, who are you? In Kashi, he was coming to Kashi. On the way he met a Brahmana, and that Brahmin asked him, who are you? He said, I am Buddha. Spontaneously he told, I am Buddha, because the awakened one. And what is that awakening? It is just an awakening. You have found that. And he also continued. He said, there is suffering. He is very factual. There is suffering, and there is a solution to go out of it. This I have found. And then started his teaching. Of course, in Vedanta, the Siddhanta, philosophy, there will be a lot of difference between Buddhism. I am just picturing a Jivan Mukta. I am not picturing Buddha as a religious person or prophet or anything. I am picturing only Jivan Mukta, a liberated being, that's all. That liberated being, or we are all only in this path, There is a name for Buddha. Recently I came to recognize the value of that name. Generally in Vedanta, Siddhanta, Brahma Sutra Bhashya, we will cut it into pieces. Sarvada anadaraniyoyam Sugata Samaya. This Sugata Samaya. Buddha is called Sugata. But the name is very beautiful. Sugata means one who has walked the right, beautiful path. The right path. Shivavassantu Panthanaha, he says. A very Mangala, auspicious path. So that path, an enlightened being has walked, and he tells, I know the path. If you want, you can come. Chari, Brahmachari. He is Brahmachari. Brahmani Charitum Sheelam. He knows, he walks the path of Brahma. Brahma means the path of Vedas, the Upanishads, or Brahman, the truth. And we have a well-laid path of this Vedanta Sampradaya, where the truth is revealed as your own inner being, your own inner self. As Bhagavan Ramana says, Arunachala is the outer form of that Vedic teaching. Vedanta te Ver Ara Vilangum Veda Porul Arul Arunachala. Arunachala You are my master, Arul. Shower your grace and reveal me that teaching which is there in Vedanta, in the Upanishads. What is that teaching? Where Aravilangum. The truth is not separate from you. It is not in distance. There is not even a breathing space between you and the truth. You are the self. And that is the Veda Purul, the essential thing of the Vedas. So that is it. We will continue. Now Arjuna will ask, what is the nature of a Sthita Prajna? How he moves about? How can we understand a Sthita Prajna? And all those details. And Bhagavan, it's all for us to meditate and to regain that lost state. That's all. Swami Rajeshwarananda told about Bhagavan, Ramana Maharshi. He was not giving you any new teaching. His was the rediscovery of a lost method in divine awareness. Rediscovery of a lost, forgotten method. So that is it. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.